Okay.
Start
Oh,
recording.
my fucking hair.
So you start when you want.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Thanks for editing. All right. Welcome along to Bangkok ChitChat. And as normal, I've got my good friend and co-host, Andrew Sloan, who is there. That's much better.
I just get into trouble for doing a very weak hi. Yeah.
Mr. Andrew Sloan, how are you doing, bro?
I'm fine, thank you.
Ooh, that was a bit of a weak wave. No, that was really, don't edit that out. It was my good friend, Andrew Sloan. You've been doing weight training or something.
Again,
There you go again.
So this is why we're laughing. Okay.
Do you want to shovel? Do you want to shovel?
No, it's deep enough already.
All right. So, how's life treating you there? It's been a while. So, how's things in your domain?
Everything's good. Well, this video is all about the 5 advantages, or let's say positives, of the COVID. And I've got a surprise for you.
What's that, Andrew?
Well, we've been talking. There's been a lot of shout outs about getting dogs and all this sort of stuff, to help dogs, because they've run out of funds, like Soy Dog Foundation. They're asking for funds to keep going. So we decided, my wife and I, to get
a parrot.
Sugar.
Oh, sugar. Oh, hello. Where did you get that from?
Okay, so it was a shelter, and we decided to get a female dog, because within the shelters, they've great difficulty in getting people to adopt females. Everyone wants males. They want aggression, they want protection, etc. And we looked into it, and with a female dog is more protective to the person, whereas a male dog is more protective on the territory. Not all the time, We went and we just fell in love with her, and she's a wee sugar baby, full of sugar and spice. So we decided to get her, and she's 3 months old, a street dog. Very sad taking her away from her siblings. There was 2 others, but it was she was just so loving,
lovely eyes.
Yeah, and she smiles most of the time, but not just now. Camera shy.
Okay, sugar, lovely. Okay, that's it. And I'll just talk about what we're going to talk about while you kick him out the door. Her out the door. Well, not kick. Yeah, so, there's so much, out there now, which is all negative, and rightly so, because the pandemic is pretty serious and affecting a lot of people's lives. And we understand all that. But so many people are getting wrapped up in all the negatives, which, you have to look at. You have to get an understanding of this, and it's everyone's duty to do it, I think. But sometimes it's good just to take a lighter side and see, hey, are there any positives? And we thought of about, Andrew thought of about 3,000, as he normally does. And I picked just 5, and then I've picked some of his and some of ours, and we've just got 5 positives. There's loads out there, so we'll talk about what you can do with your top 5 later. So shall we get into it, yeah? These are not in any order of importance or relativity or anything. They're just what we thought. And here's the first one. It's appreciate the smaller things in life. Now, I've got quite a big rant over this one, so you go first, because I think the smaller things in life that you're going through and appreciating are different from mine. So over to you, Andrew.
We all have rocky times in our life, and everyone's talking about mental health and things like that. So I always look at silver lining around anything and try and focus on that. So little things, whether it's at the weekend, I stick to my schedule, my work schedule. There's lots of things to do. Yeah? So the most important thing to me is to keep to a schedule, a routine. So I feel as if I've achieved something every day. So
yeah.
But painting is one of the small things. Is painting. So there was a wall which I've been looking at for ages, and I've been getting a headache to go and do something about. So I did that. That was a small thing. So at the weekend, I just sort of painted this wall, and of course, when you start painting, it's never as straightforward as slapping on paint. You got to prepare it. You got to put one coat on, a second coat on. Then it starts pouring down with rain. You find out it's not exterior paint and it's interior paint, and it comes off. And all this crap. And I've been told I'm terrible. I'm awful at DIY. Yeah. Well, okay, but I give it a go. So that's one of the small things I did. Or setting up your sound system in the TV, or all these little lists of things I've been sorting out. When free time.
I take it when you're talking about painting walls, you're not talking about the one behind you.
No, I was painted before.
I suggest you paint it. It looks like you're in for a cell.
Professionally.
For me, I mean, this is the number one thing that I have noticed. Before the COVID, or, you know, BV as they call it now, I had a lot of time on my hands. I'm semi-retired. I had this channel, which I used to focus, well, which I still do, focus on, and a few little projects going on. But mainly, I had quite a bit of time on my hands, more than maybe, you know, you watching. Now with the virus, I still have that same amount of time. But what I've noticed is I'm using that time more. I was always into sort of spiritualism, into channeling, into UFOs, conspiracy theories, that type of thing. Not the silly conspiracy theories, but sensible stuff. Okay. But I was more or less
That's objective. What you think is okay is dumb.
Yeah. Well, this is all me, all about what I think. Yeah. And what I've found is, and I've sort of analyzed it because I've got plenty of time to do that, is that although the time is the same of amount that I can spend, I'm looking at things more closely now, more than just looking at a lot of things and glossing over them. I've come a little bit more spiritual. I've come a little bit more philosophical, and my knowledge is, I mean, I'm even looking at quantum physics these days. At a very, very small level, but I'm beginning to get a yearning for knowledge, because I think what's gone on in the world has made me think that, hey, it's not all just you get into your routine, like you said, into your get up, do da 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 da, and that's what I was doing. Although I had lots of spare time, but now because of what's going on, it's making me think about things twice and going, right, I will look at that. It's sort of. Do you get what I mean, Andrew?
Yes, yeah, no, I understand that. Basically, you're creating a hobby to build more knowledge. Yeah? You get more time.
Yes, I think hobby is using it a bit lightly. It's more like I need to know sort of thing, because this virus is sort of like we didn't know and no one expected it. Well, few may have done, but you know, mainly it took us all by surprise, and it's turned everything upside down, which gives you sometimes gives you a second thought on life. And that's what I'm going through. And I love it. I am becoming more, hobby if you want, but I'm getting more interested in certain topics and deep diving into those, and therefore learning more.
Weren't you also turning around saying you've been watching shitloads of box sets?
Well, I do that anyway, to be honest. But yeah, that's for another video. But yes, there is the binge thing that everybody's doing. But I did that anyway. I did that anyway. It's just in what I call my spare time. It's like I'm sitting down and I'm, as I say, you know, looking at stuff and going into it more deeply. And, you know, Russell Brand, Edgar Tolle, who I've, The Power of Now. I've read the book, but now I'm seeing it from like a different perspective. And I've even read that book you gave me the other day. I'm reading a lot more.
Oh, right. Okay. I must admit, that was, I have to explain that book for people who do not like Alex Ferguson or Man United. It was something I got at the the fair, the Planchet fair. It was cheap.
Oh, well, thank you. I thought you'd bought it in Asia Books. And the other one was, do you remember Talkback Thailand? Mark, from Mark Loveridge. He gave me this when he came over for an afternoon of fun. And that's the book, you know, remember Michai, the minister, Michai. Yeah. And that's the story of his life, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to borrow that and read that.
Yeah, it's been on my table for ages. So there you go. There's another thing. It's been there and I've got loads of time. I'm suddenly reading it because I'm getting a yearn for knowledge of what's happened before, what's happening now, and a lot of what is going to happen in the future. So that's the appreciate the smaller things in life. Baking, sitting around, looking at recipes, the family are here. We'll get into that later. But all those little things that you almost, I know it's cliched, took for granted, they're becoming major things now and getting me around this mental health thing.
Yeah, okay, good. I think everybody's doing a little bit of that. What's the next one?
It's happening. The next one is families living together. I can relate to that. I think.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So, do you want to talk a bit about that?
Well, I mean, I'm lucky in a way. Well, I'll say unlucky in another way. I'd love to have my daughter back. She's in the Netherlands. Yeah. But what I have found is getting together. I always communicate a lot with my daughter, my mum, my sisters, and things like that. And what I've found, okay, it's outside family, but even with friends, I've really sort of re-established contact with many ways. And we've got the only problem is all we seem to talk about is this damn COVID, because my mother's been stuck in a house in Scotland for 8 weeks, 8 weeks, and as many else have, others have, but bringing family. It's I think it's knowing the possibility of losing somebody, especially if they're in the UK or the US, is something where you appreciate the family more.
I think that we'll merge it with another one that we had coming up, but we've got families living together. And another one that we brought up out of the 5 was more frequent communication between friends and extended family, you know, the catch-up thing. I did a Zoom the other day where I had all my extended family there and my close family, my brother, my sister-in-laws. And whether we would have done that otherwise, I'm not sure. We talk individually sometimes, but this was like a whole family reunion. Zoom handled it, by the way. It was a little bit difficult with people talking over and everything, but the thing is, it was midday there and it was 6 o'clock here, and I'd had a few lunchtime drinky poos. So I was the lively one on the Zoom.
And it worked well, yeah? And there was no delays and...
a couple of people have got back to me saying well done, but I haven't heard from some.
Probably never will again.
So that is that one. Moving on, we've got another one here. A good-hearted society risking the virus to help and serve. And people that don't get so much of a mention, I'm sure they do, but not as much as, you know, the frontline workers, are like supermarket staff. You know, it just puts faith back into human nature. And something that I think that was lacking before, you know, is a come-togetherness, people clapping at 8 o'clock at night, the NHS and things like that. It's more like solidarity over an enemy, and like the Second World War and stuff like that. I think everyone has it more or less. There's always a few that are stupid and don't do it, but the majority of people have stuck together. We'll fight this as a group. We'll still have a moan at the government, but basically we will do what we have to do to combat this, and it's put some faith back, I think, in human nature, for me anyway.
Well, I agree. I mean, okay, you're probably more referring to UK, a lot of the clapping. But I think also we're not hearing an awful lot of things that are actually happening. I know that, well, we had the Bangkok expat on. They started something off their own back, and they're doing a great job in helping expats, with food, advice, etc. So that was one. I know other groups are giving food to the poor, And what I've also seen is, with my wife, you know, she'll buy things from other friends who are maybe struggling, or they can get food cheaper from the south or from the north or wherever, and they're buying through friends to get certain items, food items and things, to be shipped to Bangkok. So there is a great community all over the world. I think the people are beginning to realize that people are people. And it isn't just about.
I've had this as a personal experience. My wife makes cookies. She's just got a new business. It's called In the Oven. See the details below. No, not yet. But the next door neighbors are buying from her, and they're friends of ours, and they can get them anywhere. But they are delicious and they're good value. But they're supporting her in this time of crisis, as it were, which is going along with what you just said.
Yeah, and I think people, especially if you get a little entrepreneurial spirit, they're maybe trying things out. Yeah, the hard part is when you set up the company and all this sort of stuff. That everyone's just doing it, cash and not declaring and all this sort of stuff. But I think it's great people get a little entrepreneurial spirit. So that's maybe another advantage. But the community side is very much, I feel it as well. Yeah. And people communicate. How are you? How's things? What's happening? I mean, messenger videos. If you look at Facebook, I mean, we compare this against the D-Day. This is not a D-Day because there's no line drawing. The war stopped and everybody celebrated. This is something. Hopefully, the spirit will continue. And everyone's gagging to get out to a pub, but obviously, logically, they won't, and they're probably going to be scared to go out at the beginning. But it is. Two
things you said there that I'd like to comment on. Number one is that supermarket staff need a big shout out. I wouldn't want to do their jobs. I mean, I know in Thailand now the figures are going lower, but they're not in a lot of other countries. And these guys, they're on the front line because, I mean, yes, the nurses are actually treating people that have got it. So I understand that. But, other people in the service industry, shelf stackers in supermarkets, the cashiers, they are actually meeting at close quarters the general public. I know. So, a big shout out to them. And the other thing you mentioned about, supporting your locals, a friend of mine said that he's going to go, his local pub has opened, but social distancing, obviously no alcohol. And I said, well, what's the fun in that? And he made me feel bad, to be honest, because he said, because I don't want them to go under. So I'm supporting them by going there, drinking a Coke and eating their roast dinner or whatever.
Well, quite honestly, when I go for a meal, I know everyone drinks, we're talking about this before, about wine. I don't normally drink water when I'm eating, because I want to taste the food. And I know that the different wines basically pair, complement with the food. But there's a culture of, especially with Brits, where when we go to a pub, we have to drink alcohol. In actual fact, you don't. You could drink a mocktail, but you just feel it's the way it's expected, pub alcohol. But you don't need to. And the publicans don't really care because they probably get just as much profit from a soft drink at 100 baht
more.
Or 80 baht a glass when they're paying maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 baht. Yeah. So.
Well, that's a good point, but definitely not. For me, a pub is for drinking alcohol. And then if you get food as well, which most of them do now, that's an added bonus. If you said to me, go to the pub and not have a gin and tonic, not have a cider or a beer, I would not go to the pub. Unless it was in the countryside and I could sit in the garden, but I still would want a beer in front of me. But that's just me. That's just me.
Why do you go, if you come down to the core reason for going to a pub, it's basically to meet other people.
No. Yes, to meet other people and have a drink with them.
Right, okay, but the real reason is you're going to meet people. It's a meeting point. It's a public meeting point. So, hence a pub. I mean, sometimes I get sick of drinking. To be honest, over this 2 months, I think I've probably had 2 beers, 2 or 3 gin and tonics in 2 months, and I really don't miss it. And I know when I walk in the pub, the first time, I'll probably be legless on 1 pint.
I know you. We have done these. But no, and I'm sure lots of people think like you. So, but also I think loads, probably the majority think like me. But there we go. Right, getting things done. This is the last one. Getting things done around the house. Now, I failed on this one, I think, but I know you sort of, because you work from home anyway, right? So that was BV. So it's easier for you to get into a working routine because you, other than go for meetings and that, which I'm sure you must miss, and business-wise must miss also, you can do certain work-related stuff to your business at home.
Yeah, I mean, what we've got is we have a live. The house is basically vertically split in two, so it's like two shop houses on its own land. Yeah, like one house. Yeah, you know, the garden, etc. Yeah, and we've got the studios, meeting rooms, work areas, got the sound studio, which is just being finished. Blah blah blah. So what we've done, we've actually physically split the two buildings. So for me, part of the reason for that, because we used to have a whole floor in one building a few years ago, was traffic. I looked for areas which created too much stress for me. So that's how we've done it. So yeah, it's easier for me, and it's not a big change of environment. That's why I really haven't felt the pressure from it. Yeah, but
and that's exactly the same as me.
I've got all staff working from home.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm saying. Time-wise and hour-wise, it hasn't really affected me, other than I don't go to your studio anymore.
Yeah, but don't get studios just one place. We've got another location up with Peter. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. This segment brought to you by ClipCube Media. We are there for you.
I know. We all need the business. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And of course, you know, so many businesses are going out. But anyway, we're not talking about the negatives. So let's get things done around the house. I've sort of failed on that. I'm not a DIY guy anyway. I'm hopeless. So I can't say I've done anything around the house other than create a good spirit with the people living within. Because we had another one we brought up earlier, families living together. My son's with us now, and obviously my wife and myself. And we are spending a lot of time together, but we are coping and we're not getting in each other's way. My wife has to work from home for her company. She's allowed to work at home. But, you know, we find ourselves a lot in the kitchen. Yeah. Especially my son, he gets the old recipes on there because you can get food and ingredients delivered or go out and get them. So it's not like the flood days, which is so many years ago, which was far different. It still changed my mindset for a while, the flood. Yeah, it made me think differently. I got a bit more philosophical during that period. But this one is like everything's normal, except it's not normal.
Yeah,
for me.
You're not supposed to go out unless you have to. But things have opened up in the past week an awful lot. Now restaurants are now open, which is good. And I think coming back to the positives is I think we've got an appreciation of the simple things in life now than we have in the past. Yeah?
You learn to appreciate them more.
Yeah, and the freedoms that we've actually got. I mean, and respect for others that we're not going out, you know, couldn't infecting somebody, wearing a mask. Hopefully, another advantage will be people will continue wearing masks if they get sick. So if you get the flu or the cold or something like that, you put a mask on if you're taking the underground, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's going to be harder to do in the West. Look, this is a whole new argument, which I'd really love to do on Bangkok ChitChat. I want somebody that can come on that can sort of like debate this fact, because there are so many people in the West will not wear a mask. You even had that health senator in the States going around a COVID ward. He didn't wear a mask.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see that? Yeah. To me, that is sending out such a wrong message. It's untrue. But they don't. Anyway, let's not get into that argument now, because it's a hell of a one and I want to save it. But we need someone, because I know what your views are, the same as mine, because we lived here in Asia for a long, long time, where a mask is second nature in a way. There was no biggie when we had to wear one. But for other people in other countries, in other cultures, it is a biggie. And, you know, freedom and all this lot going. It's a debate for another day. So I don't, but if anybody's watching that would like to come on, just send us on the Facebook Messenger your email, and we'll send you can come on, and, you know, nicely and correctly, we can talk about it, because I'd like to know more about why you don't wear a mask. availability. I'm not going to talk about now availability as a mask and why you should and shouldn't. But if you are on that wavelength, then please, DM us or put on the Facebook Messenger your email, and we can get back to you. Agreed, Andrew?
Yes, I think that's fine. Okay, so just quickly to recap, what we had was appreciate the smaller things in life. Then we had families living together and having quality time. We had good-hearted society. Good-hearted
putting faith back in human nature. Yeah.
Sacrifice for the I wouldn't say sacrifice for the virus. Taking the risk. More frequent communication with friends and family, and then getting things done around the house. But there's a few other little honourable. Let's mention some honourable mentions. Yeah, mention honourable mentions.
Sounds intriguing, mate.
Yeah, I'm absolutely fascinated. On the business level, what I've found is we're doing more and more, creating brainstorming, using Zoom to brainstorm, doing things, when all the staff turned around and said, "Oh, I don't have time to do this," and saying, "Well, now you've got the time, sort it out. Give us your thoughts, give us your ideas." Yeah. Whether it's updating your CRM or community, showing empathy to your customers who are struggling. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean financial. It might be just supporting them. Sorry?
CRM, what is that? See all these acronyms, mate. Customer
relationship management. So basically, it's a database of all your customers and their history. Yeah. So a lot of people have name cards, they don't put it into the system because they don't have time.
Okay, cool.
Or they check somebody. Another one you were laughing at before, and I said, getting your will sorted out.
It's supposed to be positives here, Andrew. Bloody hell.
It is positive. It's positive, and you're getting they're taking advantage of the time you've got. Look at your insurance company, see if the buggers covered you for COVID or not, and if they didn't, change your health insurance company. Yeah.
Well, I guarantee they haven't.
No, I haven't. No, but what we did is we got particular COVID insurance at the very beginning. Yeah? It was 850 baht. We give you $1 million baht coverage.
Yeah.
Right, and says tell me that you spent 850 baht, you didn't get anything for it.
If I paid that, I'd want to catch it. Right, you got any more?
They say it's an act of God. And in the UK, I'm not sure about Thailand. Someone can inform us. Yeah, but business interruption insurance. The insurance companies are not honouring it because they say it's what they call force majeure. Yeah, but the positive thing is we're also in businesses or as families, we've got more respect for other people, or we should have more respect for other people. So the environment's going to slightly change. So I think we can actually get some positives out of all of this.
But absolutely. Absolutely.
If anyone's got any other thoughts, we've just done 5. I had as he said, I had about 17. But we cut it
100.
Down. Yeah.
No, it's cool. It's really good. So if you do, thanks for watching, by the way, everybody. And please, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, it's your first time, please subscribe. It does help us in the future.
Down there or there, whichever way the camera is. Just click it and notification button.
And if you'd like to send, your top 5 benefits, that's the wrong word, positives of, C19, then we'll read them out. We are going to do a readout show with all the people that have commented, because we've had quite a few, and we'd like to, give them recognition on supporting us. And we do thank you for watching, and we do not take it for granted. We really, really don't. We actually think they're going live someday, so we'll talk about that later as well. But well, we are live, but are live. I think that's about it. The mask thing I'd really like to do. I really would, but we need a third wheel, because me and Andrew, and we're not going to pick on you. Don't think we really want to hear from you why you don't want to wear a mask. No, don't frighten them off, Andrew, for heaven's sake. You've gone quiet. Oh, there you go. All right then, mate. So is that it? Any final words? This has gone on quite a bit.
I think that's fine. Any ideas for the show? We wanted to go and chat to people. Just let us know. This is your channel.
Yep. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching the video. We do appreciate it. Thanks to all our subscribers. Stay safe, do that social distancing, and let's hope different countries have different, you know, outlooks at the moment, but just stay safe, do what you have to do, and we'll get through it.
That's it. See you later.